Welcome everybody. It's Holy Joe Rock and Roll coming at you live and unscripted. This is the first live and unscripted broadcast, simulcast, telecast, podcast, videocast, whatever you want to call it. No holds barred video. Taking your live questions on Skype, if you will, via Skype. For now, I'm up in Skype. Skype's up. If you want to chat with me, give me a few minutes. I want to discuss a few items, and then we can definitely do some Skype chatting live. Just checking my audio levels. Let's see if anybody's in the chat room. Hey, man. Hey, hello. Robert from Chicago. What's happening? All right. Cool. I'm wondering if I can get this on the screen. I have to do some acrobatics. Oh, wait, I think I can pop out chat. Pow. Ha ha. All right, so we got some live chat there. There's Robert. How are you, man? Good that you joined us. And we got 5 people watching right now. We just started a couple minutes late. I had to make some tea. I'll be honest with you. I looked at the time. I had 10 minutes. I was like, I got to make some tea. And then it was steeping. And then I poured it, and I came upstairs, and I'm like, it's like I got 1 minute. And then I fired everything up, and here we are. So let's get started. What I want to talk to you about first is a few things. Start out with a little bit of, refugee talk. Okay, what's going on in the world? Now, I talked to my friend Robert, a different Robert. Hey, Warsaw, what's up? Warsaw's in the house. Hey, Thomas Jefferson, what's up? TJ in the house. I talked to my friend Rob, who lives in Florida, a different Rob, and he said a lot of the videos that I'm doing, that this is not mainstream news. This is not mainstream information. People in the U.S. do not know what is going on. So, for instance, he did not know that the V4, basically Poland, Hungary, Czech Republic, and Slovakia, have said that we're not taking any more refugees. Now, recently, I guess Slovakia sort of backed down because they were threatened, with losing EU funding or something like that, and they may have backed down a little bit, but certainly Poland and Hungary and the Czech Republic have not backed down. And one of the side stories is that over the last few years, Poland has taken in over 1 million Ukrainians due to the war in Ukraine. Okay? All right, no problem. Some people are still at work. They can't try to keep up. Okay, no problem, guys. But, yeah, also another thing, if I can get your feedback on what's a good time. I just, just happy that my suspension on live feeds is up, and I wanted to, do a live feed and really add caller possibilities. So if we get some feedback on what's the best time, maybe Saturday, maybe later in the evening on a Friday. But I don't want to mess with people's Fridays. It could be almost any day. But hey, how are you? Foren from Gdynia? All right. But yeah, so Poland has taken in over 1 million Ukrainian refugees. Now, this article here from The Guardian is actually about 2 years old, where it lists, it's 2 years old, and this is listing back then, Poland had issued 331,000 permits for short-term work from Ukrainians. So that was a while ago. And, hey, what's up, Bristol? Yeah, all right, man. Hit it with a thumbs up, Bristol. Hit it. All you out there, hit it with a thumbs up. Let's get these thumbs up, man. I really appreciate that. So that was 2 years ago. 331,000 Ukrainians had already entered Poland legally and gotten work permits. Now, if we go to this year, this is March of 2017, the numbers have exceeded over 1 million. And, there's this Bloomberg, Poland can't get enough of Ukrainian migrants. That's maybe not totally true, but it depends on who you're talking to, right? Who you're talking to. There's always a limit, right? How much is too much? But at least for now, it seems to be a pretty good number of migrants. The fact that a lot of Polish people have left the country, you might say both at the top. I mean, obviously the smartest people in any country can migrate to any other country that they want to because they're at the top, right? The top tier people. They're in demand anywhere. Now, obviously, maybe not so obviously, but the lower tier people, the people who can't get jobs, they are forced to leave in many cases. And that's what we see with Mexican migrants. Mexico is not sending their best, all right? So I'm not saying that Poland is not sending their best, but you hear a lot of, sometimes you hear people complaining about Polish people who have gone to the UK. Now, maybe some of them are not Poland's best. They're just maybe lower class people that are not well educated. I don't mean to stereotype anybody. The Polish people that I know that went to do menial jobs were actually at least high school educated and were very normal people. Very, I would say polite, very polite people. And so, whatever, it's just a stereotype. But getting back to this Ukraine thing, over 1 million people have come. They said that they are replacing some of these people at the lower end that have left Poland, taking up sort of more menial jobs, and that Poland's unemployment rate has hit record lows, around 5.5 or 5.4 as we speak now, and that maybe these are really unsustainable lows, and whatever. I mean, and the economic growth in the last quarter was 4%. I mean, that's just really good for any country. So, I mean, that's just awesome. And yeah, Slovenia, yeah. So that's what's up with Poland. And a lot of people don't know that Poland has taken in all of these Ukrainians. Now, for better or for worse, or whatever you want to say, it's for the better for the most part. Obviously, Ukrainians are a European people, very similar, Slavic people, very similar in many cases to Polish people. Christians, although most of them might be Orthodox Christian, so they have a slightly different calendar. Most of their Christian calendar events are like 2 weeks later, but not always. They're going by an older calendar. But otherwise, it's pretty much very similar. Look very similar. You may not say Ukrainian is the same as Polish. It's not the same, but it's the Ukrainian people that I know that have been here. They say, "Hey, I've been here 3 months, came here, didn't speak any Polish, and within 3 months are speaking fluent Polish." So, it's close enough. I would say it's close enough. And just a real quick aside, a friend of mine, I did a story on him, expat stories from around the world, who claimed that he spoke Russian, but couldn't speak any Polish. And then I just, for the heck of it, listened to a 2-hour Russian introductory language course, and probably about a third of the words were similar enough to Polish that I knew the guy was totally lying. But I knew that anyhow. I knew that anyhow. So, this is an article about Poland not raising the rate, I guess the lending rate. It's going to be still stuck at around 1.2%. So that's good if you're going to, buy something big. But in my opinion, cash is your friend. Try to pay cash. Here is this is the article from The Guardian. It's about a few weeks old, where because Poland has resisted, this is June 13th, I'm sure there's a newer article, but since the EU has said that they may take action against the eastern states that are refusing to take refugees, and in this article it says that Slovakia has sort of backed down. But I'm saying that we have to stand strong and not back down, talking about whoever's still in this anti-refugee group coalition, because we know it's good for us. And instead of Germany trying to force these refugees on everybody else, why don't you close the border and give yourselves time to digest what you've already taken in? That's what makes logical sense. I had a meeting with a friend of mine. He's German. He's from Munich area. He's a super smart guy. He works for an American company, by the way. Super smart guy. You have to say he's definitely upper middle class. He's not super rich, but he's upper middle class. Okay, and in Germany, that's pretty successful guy. He works really hard, and he's really good at his job. Anyhow, I remember asking him, "You're in Munich, what's going on there?" about a year ago. And that was through a secure, I will just say a secure encrypted communication platform. And he wouldn't tell me anything. And I really thought that he was being afraid that he was going to be wiretapped or what have you. Anyhow, when I met with him, he said, in his opinion, now this is one man's opinion, possibly living in a gated community in Munich, which is in southern Germany. His opinion was that most of these people, they're just dressed normal, walking around, not working, but not causing any problems. That was his opinion. And I brought up, the facts that, 2 years later, 75% of them are still unable to find work. Or actually, no, that was this. I think more than 90% are still unable to find work. And the prediction is that in 5 years, 75% of them will still not have found work. So why are you putting this burden on your welfare system on the people to take in these people that can't work? They're not going to help the economy. They're not going to help they're not going to help Germany. Really, what's the point? And his only response was that he sort of agreed with me, but he felt that what Merkel did initially, she was in a no-win situation. I'm not trying to defend Germany because I think she was. Look, every decision has consequences, all right? But in his opinion, and this is maybe from a, Stockholm Syndrome, battered wife syndrome, German people. I don't know what's happened to you, German people. You used to be so proud of being German. Even post-World War II, you were still proud to be German. What's going to happen to you? But he said that, look, if Merkel didn't let the people in, it would echo back to the Nazis, right? But if she did let them in, this is what's happened now. We've got millions of basically military-age men that are unable and unwilling to work. Then the second part of the coin was, what about these refugees coming from Africa, coming into Italy? And he said, look, totally no. He's totally against those people coming into Europe, all right? I mean, most of the people coming from Turkey are not Syrian anymore. They're Syrian mixed with Afghani, mixed with Iraqi, and who knows what else is in the mix. So, it is suicidal. It is suicidal what they're doing in Germany. It has to stop. It just has to stop. I mean, the logic just has to dictate. And Germans are some of the smartest people out there, right? Highly inventive, very ingenious. They're going to have to come to grips with the reality that this is not a working situation. I'm going to pop up to the top there. So let's move on to the next topic here. Slovakia. Sorry, guys. Slovakia. Did I say Slovenia in the past? Slovakia was the country. Czech Republic and Slovakia were the two other countries, along with Poland and Hungary, that are against these guys. Not Slovenia. Slovenia is a beautiful country, by the way, if you haven't been there. It used to be part of Yugoslavia. Borders with Italy and Austria, I believe. And it's a beautiful place. Anyhow, another article here. A trial begins. This is about a month old. Trial begins over deaths of 71 migrants in a refrigerated lorry. I just stumbled upon this article, and it's another reason why you should not come to Europe if you're an illegal migrant. Okay? 71 people were put into a refrigerated lorry. Now, obviously, the refrigeration was turned off, but they were crammed into a small truck. A lorry is a truck in English, okay, not the Queen's English. And basically, they suffocated. And there was an Afghan guy who was in charge of this. Where's he at? Afghan guy who was in charge of the smuggling ring, including 9 Bulgarians, 1 Bulgarian Lebanese, and an Afghan. And the Afghan identified as whatever his name is here, Samsor El. Man, he basically is recorded by German authorities as texting the driver, who basically said these people are screaming not to stop, and if they die, dump the bodies in a forest in Germany. So I don't know if you've seen this thing, but this is just another reason. If you're illegal, do not come to a country that doesn't want you. Come legally, okay? Just follow the rules, and stuff like this won't happen. So I just highlight this as a reason why not to come. This going to the U.S. now, in U.S. news. I did a story on this a little bit earlier today about Trump's. He had mentioned that Comey should be careful. The former FBI director James Comey should be careful in what he says or what he leaks, because there could be tapes of their conversation. And now Trump is saying that there is no tapes. And you know, it's for me, like I said, it's no big deal. It's either way, it doesn't matter. But oh, what do we got here? Yeah, let's stay with it. Stay with Trump and the repeal and replace of Obamacare. People, this is really infuriating me, because ever since Obamacare was passed, Republicans said that they were going to repeal and replace it. Okay, first they said, well, we need the House, because Obamacare was passed basically when Obama, a Democrat, you know, obviously held the executive branch. The Senate and the House was also in Democrat hands. So they had complete control. They could have done anything they wanted to because they had the majorities. So the Republicans said, we need the House in order to repeal Obamacare. So we gave them the House, right? These guys didn't do anything. Then they said, we need the Senate. So we gave them the Senate. They still didn't do anything. Then they said, we need the presidency, and we gave them the presidency in 2016. And up till now, they've done very little. They did pass a House bill, but it's going to have to go to conference with whatever the Senate passes. They need to, these cucks, these rhinos, they need to be voted out in 2018 midterm elections? 2018. In 1 year from now, there will be midterm elections. All of the House seats are up for grabs, and about 10 of the Senate seats that I know of are up for grabs. They need to go. Now, here's the question. You're probably asking, what do we replace Obamacare with? Look, Obamacare totally sucks. I asked my brother. He's married. He has one kid. I said, what about Obamacare for him? Because he was looking to get some insurance. And he was in New York. He's no longer in New York, in the state of New York. But he told me that for the family, it would be like $2,000 a month. Plus there was like a $12,000, $12,000 they had to spend before Obamacare would kick in. Copay. $12,000 copay. That makes absolutely no sense. Hey, what's up, Thomas? What's happening? So that makes absolutely no sense. And he was like, it makes no sense. It's better for him to put $2,000 a month in a bank, and you know, if something happens, you know, just pay for the doctor visit directly, and hopefully nobody gets sick. So now he's in a different state and he's got a different job, so he has insurance, but it's definitely not Obamacare. It's just crazy, man. Makes no sense. My opinion is get the government out of healthcare completely. Look, there is no government subsidies for auto insurance. Auto insurance companies are very competitive, right? There is no subsidies for all kinds of other insurance. Bring back competition. Why can't we have? I mean, I can see. Look, if I was a Geico or whatever, like say you're a car insurance like Geico. I'm just throwing that out there. Whatever. Warren Buffett owns this company. You got all these customers buying your car insurance. You got this huge market. Put together an HMO. There's 59 cities in the U.S. that have around 1 million people, either in the city or in the greater metropolitan area. Think about this. 59 cities. That's 59 million out of about 330 million people. Okay? If you were able to get, I did some quick back of the envelope calculation. Let's say you got $100 per person in each of these million person metropolitan areas, right? I'm talking about businesses would also subscribe. Maybe it'd be a little bit more than 100, but let's keep the math simple. You got 1 million people times $100. That's $100 million per month. That potentially would be revenues for the 1 million people, right? Times 12, you've got $1.2 billion. Did I do the math right? I don't have it written down here, but it's a lot of money. And that's maybe let's say that's what the employee would pay. Maybe the company would match that, so let's double that. Now you're up to $2.4 billion a year to run healthcare for 1 million people. Now most people never go to a doctor. I think I go to the doctor maybe once a year. So it's not even a big deal, right? There has to be rational reasons behind our healthcare policies. And other countries have, well, I don't even want to speak for other countries. I can only speak about Poland. Everybody pays into the public system. Just like in the U.S., you pay for Medicare or Medicaid. It's 3% the last time I checked. Even if you don't use it, you can't use it until you retire. So there is that safety net. That should be there for people who are really, truly poor or down on their luck. But if that was available for everybody, and it kind of is, then public or private insurance through an HMO or some kind of group medical plan should be very competitive. Should be very competitive. Yeah, it is true. I've seen that in Poland, where I went to a public health clinic here for my son many years ago, just right outside of Krakow, and when I went there, it was full of old people. I mean, probably like 100 old people. It's a big building. I thought we were going to be there for hours, but we checked in, and because he was a child, I think he was only maybe a year, they took him right away, like within 10 minutes. I was so surprised. And it was a simple thing. He just had like a cyst under his eye, like a pimple basically under his eye. All the doctor did was pop the pimple, and that's it. You know, we left. So it is true. A lot of old people use a lot of healthcare because they're old. I mean, you know, the creeks start coming in when you get old, right? And people who have not taken care of themselves or could not have taken care of themselves are, you know, they're going to consume the most, right? But that's why you pay into a system. So that's what I have to say on that. One last big topic is this Bloomberg article from today, Crackhouse essential accessory, a smog mask. Now, people in Krakow, is this for real, man? I've been living here for over 10 years. I even lived on Straszewskiego, a half a block from the Wawel. And, okay, it was, when I first got there, it was a lot of pollution. Okay, I'm just being honest. But you didn't, let me put it this way. It's not like something you could smell. I'm going to come back down and talk to my people. It wasn't something that you could necessarily smell, except maybe in the wintertime. People were burning coal, and it has a peculiar smell. But then also, if they were burning plastic, that has another peculiar smell, unique smell. But I think the biggest issue, it was in the summertime, was diesel fuel from the buses that would go right underneath my window along the Planty. But that, they stopped the traffic. You know, more recently, you can't really drive there, and they rerouted the buses around. So my last year or so, definitely the particulate matters were a lot less. Now, this article goes on to say that Krakow's pollution is like 6 times normal smog in certain months, like I guess October and April. And I did see one guy wearing a mask on the street, and I thought it was weird. In the summer, not in the summertime, in the wintertime or late winter, late winter. And look, people are, let's just be honest, there's a lot of people who are living in old buildings in the city or wherever. I don't live in a city anymore. I live 5 clicks outside the city, and you might call a rural-ish, suburban-ish. It's still not suburban, but it's really, I got a farm right next door here. So, and you smell plastic here in the wintertime, okay? Plastic is oil-based, right? If you burn plastic, it's like burning oil in a way. The problem is you need high temperatures to fully burn up the noxious fumes that comes off it, the gaseous that comes off of it. And that's why instead of, I mean, look, it's easy to ban burning plastic, but people are going to buy plastic and burn it, right? The solution would be to have stoves like a rocket stove that heats up to such a high temperature that the gases that come through there are consumed, are combusted. And the same thing is with wood gases or even coal. You know, wood, coal is like maybe petrified wood, petrified greens. But when you burn wood in an open fire, you see that grayish smoke coming off? A lot of it is wood gas. Or if you see the flames coming off, a lot of it is actually wood gas that burns. It can be burnt, right? And with a rocket stove, where it takes the flame goes up. I have a video on my channel of where I built it and tested it, and very little particulate matter comes out. Almost no smoke comes out. Yeah, we do have recycling. We do have recycling. Yeah, Tom. But I'm telling you, people burn the plastic to stay warm, just to save money. Okay. But what I'm saying, if you have a stove that takes the flame goes up, it turns it maybe at a 90-degree angle, brings it back down. That burn chamber at the top there is going to get super hot. So then, let's say you burn some coal or some wood first. You got that oven nice and hot. Then maybe you added some plastic so that the fumes of the plastic would be fully consumed. And by the way, that wood gas is a fuel, right? It's like LPG or whatever. You can actually people can build. You know, the gas from these wood gases can be used to run an engine, a regular engine, instead of gasoline. So, oh God, I got something bothering me right there. So anyway, that is something that I have not really noticed as a problem personally. Like I said, I lived in the center of the city for almost 5 years. So I'd love to hear your take. I mean, what are you guys seeing? Because that's something interesting. They also say that, yeah, there's coal generation of heat in the wintertime that's producing a lot of this stuff. Yeah. And, you know, they got all these people just posing with masks on. Whatever. I mean, look, I'm lucky that I live outside, sort of, I guess I'm sort of on the rim of the valley of Krakow, because Krakow kind of is in a valley, and that's why the smog kind of gets trapped there. But I'm sort of on the rim as you leave the city, 5 clicks out, it starts to go up, and we've got a lot of wind here. It feels like there's a lot of wind here, a lot of breezes. So maybe I'm lucky, but I'm close to the highway, so maybe, you know, whatever. It's hard to know, right? It's hard to tell, because some of the official statistics have shown that this area was just as or more polluted as the other areas. In terms of, somebody sent me a link to the tracking of it. So I don't know. Honestly, to be honest with you, I don't know what is the real deal. What is the truth? What is the truth? I got a quick announcement to make. I wanted to thank some of my sponsors, some of the people who have contributed to this channel and have, you know, basically sent me some money. I really appreciate it, and I wanted to call them out. I'm not going to use your last name. I don't have permission, and I'm guessing where the country is based upon the currency. Okay, so if I get it wrong, I'm sorry, but I got a special gift coming up to you guys. Grzegorz S. I believe he's in Poland. Okay, if you're out there, I want to thank you personally. Thank you for your contribution. Bogdan S. I believe he's in Canada. All right, Bogdan S. I want to thank you personally for your contribution. Adam T. Adam T. I think you were one of the first, and he's in the UK as far as I can tell. And Łukasz P. also in Poland. These four I'm assuming it's all men, unless, maybe your wives made the contribution. I don't know, but I'm assuming it's all guys. I really want to thank you guys. And as a thank you, as soon as my 5 CD definitive collection comes back from the printers, I'm sending you guys a copy of the 5 CD definitive collection, Holy Joe Rock and Roll. All right, as a big, big thank you for your support. And I want to make this new offer for anyone who's interested in, supporting this channel. And you want to, I'm not asking you to send me money for nothing, right? Obviously, the content here, hopefully, it's entertaining, it's interesting, it's informative, and that maybe that's worth something, and that's great. But it's always nice to have a little something, right? So, for a contribution of $50 or whatever the exchange rate is, I will send you also a copy of the 5, the printed 5 CD definitive collection as soon as it's ready. It should be ready. It should be ready next month. I still have some artwork to finish on the 5th album. It's not been finalized, but the artwork is done for the first 4 albums, and I have a copy of the prototype from the first album called I Hate Commuting to the City. I had it right here. I wanted to show you that. But, yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Wukash. Hey, that's you, man. Wukash, what's up, buddy? Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. I really thank you. I want to thank all of you in the community, both in Poland and also internationally. Poland now, I think, is, in terms of the analytics, coming up as the #1 country of my subscribers. The United States was #1. Poland just now basically edged you out. So that's really, really interesting for me to see that I'm getting a lot of fans from Poland following me on YouTube, and I really appreciate it. So that's what's up, people. So for your contribution of $50 or more, that's what's coming. I'm gonna come out with some T-shirts. This friend of mine, Rob, who's in Florida, hopefully he's listening. He had mentioned. Well, I want to give it away, but he mentioned it would be a good idea for me to get some T-shirts. He has a way to get me some exposure on TV, and he wanted a T-shirt. So I was like, okay, I'm working on that. And so I think it's a good idea. I got some really great ideas. I got some really great designs. My Polish artist, graphic artist, had done, redid the Holy Joe logo, which looks like, let me pop it up on screen for you. Pa-pow! Looks something like that, right? I mean, that would look badass on a T-shirt, right? Something like that. Maybe on the back it says "Kocham Polska, a te." Huh? What do you think? Something like that. Anyhow, that's what's up. Also, the album covers, that will look pretty cool on a T-shirt. So that's what's coming up. That'll be available pretty soon. I'm working on different deals for that. So once again, finally, thank you guys for your support. I really appreciate it. And once those things are ready, I'm assuming that the address that came with PayPal is accurate. I'll probably email you guys just to confirm that that's the correct address, and then before sending them out. Okay, cool. What else? Let's see what we got here. All right, we got 15 people chatting. How many thumbs up we got? We got some thumbs up? Hit it with a thumbs up, guys. Hit it with a thumbs up. Definitely end the EU, man. Look, I'm all for a European Union of countries that want to freely trade and maybe make it easy to travel. And I'm not even, I mean, the idea of a common currency is a great idea, but it's just not working because everybody's linked to one set of economic, exchange rate, not exchange rates, but interest rates, right? And it doesn't make sense when one country is growing faster than another country and needs to have lower interest rates or higher interest rates. It affects everybody. And these countries are better off having their own currency. I'm so happy that Poland has made the decision that they will make a decision on adopting the euro in about 40 years. They postponed it, I know, back a while ago was they were going to make a decision in 2010, then they pushed it to 2012, then they pushed it to 2015, then they said, I think in 40 years, in 40 years we'll make a decision. So having your own currency just gives you so much more flexibility, and we don't need a common currency, and we don't need a common, I understand, working together, right? We're all, in Europe, we want to work together, but there's no reason to, it's become, the USSR of Europe, right? The EU, with these unelected bureaucrats deciding what everybody should do when it just doesn't work. And this immigration issue is at the crux of the matter, and it's like the example. It proves the rule. It proves that the EU is broken. This can't continue. It's not going to work. So, where are we at here? Let me open it up to anybody who wants to call in on Skype. You're welcome to. I think my man is busy. Somebody contacted me yesterday. He was wanting to call in, but maybe he says it looks like he's away. But anyhow, wow, if somebody were to have called in, I don't even know if I'll get notified. I don't have the headphones on. I don't hear any audio. I just know I can see the levels. The levels look good. So, is there anything you guys want to talk about? I'm looking in the chat room. Yeah, interest rates, man. Exactly. I gotta tell you, man. It used to be a few years ago you could actually make pretty good money depositing your money into Polish banks, right? Now, well, for several years, Poland has been just like the rest of the world. The interest rates are so low, you're not getting anything, pretty much, sub 1% for your deposits. It's just really not worth it. But one thing I would like to bring up, this is really, again, all of this is unscripted, and yeah, man, I'm planning to go see Trump when he comes to Warsaw. I gotta check my calendar on that. I got a new project coming up that may conflict. I hope it doesn't conflict. It should not conflict, but I gotta know the dates on that. I would like to go to Warsaw, and if people are also in town, want to hang out, maybe. Definitely. It would be a great time to do like a meet and greet or meet up. Just a meet up. Maybe have a beer after, Yeah. So, yeah, a new author. He's not new, a new author, but a new author for me that I recently came across. I would like to recommend this person. If you don't have time to read the books, watch his videos on YouTube. You may have heard of this guy. His name is E.Michael Jones. Have you heard of this guy? E.Michael Jones. He wrote a book. Look, I did a video on the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. They say it's a forgery, but a forgery doesn't mean it's fake. Doesn't mean it's not real, right? If I make a forgery of a dollar bill and it's so close to the real deal that you accept it, it's a forgery, but it's a forgery of what? What were the real minutes of the Protocols of Elder if what we have is a forgery? What's the real? Where are the real meeting notes if this is a forgery? See what I'm saying? Anyhow, I don't know what Professor Jones's take is on the protocols. I don't know what they are, but he wrote a book a few years back called The Revolutionary Jews and Their Impact on the World, something like that. The Revolutionary Jewish Spirit and Its Impact on the World. And that is such a powerful book, which I don't think it necessarily, I didn't read the book, but I've been watching his videos where he talks about the book. And actually, I have a copy of it, and I haven't read it yet. It's a long book. But that's just one book that he wrote. Another book he wrote called The Slaughter of Cities. And this is where he writes about how the cities in the United States were destroyed by essentially immigration. But it wasn't from hashtag Islam sucks balls countries, but from blacks in Mississippi moving up north. Okay? And The Slaughter of Cities, if you can watch any of his videos where he discusses the book, or the themes of the book, I see parallels with what's happening to Europe. Also, the revolutionary Jewish spirit basically describes the fact that since the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, there was two kinds of Jews, right? The Jews that accepted Jesus, they became Christians. They became known as Christians. And the Jews who rejected Jesus, they became known as Jews, the Jews. Okay? And in the first chapter of John, in the New Testament, in the Gospel of John, it says, first there was the Word, and the Word was God. But John wrote in Greek, and the Greek word is logos, L-O-G-O-S, right? It means more than just the word. It means everything. It means logic. It means, reality. It means everything, right? In a way. And these Jews that rejected logos, they rejected reality. They rejected not conformity so much, but just the fact that Jesus came. He was the Messiah. He came to save the Jews, and they rejected him. That means they rejected logic, and anybody who rejects logic becomes a rebel, right? Becomes by default sort of becomes a rebel, and they're anti-establishment essentially, and that the Jews have been involved. They not necessarily started it, but they've been involved and promoted every single revolutionary act ever since. So examples are the French Revolution, right? The Revolution, French Revolution, what else? What other? Oh, the Bolshevik Revolution, right? Who was behind that? Okay, the Civil Rights, Act, and you might say some of these were actually probably pretty good, but then also other things were very bad. Who's been behind pushing homosexuality in the United States? Who's been behind same-sex marriage? It's a lot of Jews. Who's been behind Black Lives Matter? A lot of Jewish groups, right? Soros has been behind a lot of stuff. Who's behind flooding Europe with migrants? Who's behind that? There's a lot of Jews behind it. Anyway, you can see parallels with what happened in the slaughter of cities, with what's happening in Western Europe and these countries that are not stopping this mass illegal invasion of migration. Dude, I didn't say that the French Revolution was caused by the Jews. I am saying that the Jews promoted it or supported it, pushed it, right? Why? France was a Christian country. It was a Catholic country. And the Jews are doing everything they can to break up the control that Catholicism has had on the minds of the people. Now, you can argue good or for bad, but it created social mores, right, that were good for the people. Strong on family, strong on faith, strong on, being responsible, right? Being, gender roles, right? A man's going to be a man, a woman's going to be a woman, and there's going to be respect for each other. Those are Christian values, right? So these people wanted to break that up so that they could get control. It's all about control. That's really the bottom line. Who opened the doors in Toledo in Spain? Is it Toledo? Am I thinking of the right city? It was the Jews who let in the Muslims, the invaders. And that's why, which later on led to the Inquisition. Because a lot of these people who said they had converted to Christianity were really fake Christians, and they had to find out what's going on. I don't have time on this broadcast to go into it, but for instance, you might find information really out there that Jews have been expelled from over 109 European, they say countries, but at the time they were just let's say independent governed autonomous zones, right? So it might have been a city-state. Now it's part of a country, today. But they were expelled. But nobody answers the question, why were they expelled, okay? Read that book, The Jewish Revolutionary Spirit. It's not to be negative against the Jews, but what it is to say is that we as Christians need to talk to our Jewish friends And if they're especially, look, if you can talk to a Jew, most likely they're not very religious. All right? I'm just saying. Because if they are super religious, Orthodox, they're probably not going to talk to you. So that's a lost cause. But the ones that say that they're Jewish but are not religious, you may have a chance with them. They're probably atheistic Jews, what have you. But those are communists. A lot of those are leftist communists because they have no logos. They really don't. So, that's what's up, people. That's what's up. Friday, 23rd of June. The handcuffs have been released. Holy Joe Rock and Roll doing the live broadcast. Yeah, man. Call-in broadcast. I don't see anybody on the wanting to call in. That's cool. You know, don't be shy though. What do we got here? Making some fries, somebody, man. Darwinism. Are they home cooked fries? Deep fried? Yeah. Yeah, France was Catholic after the Revolution, but it wasn't the same country, was it? Right? And the Rothschilds took control of the central banking system. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, it's more, I'm not an expert on it. I'm just going by what I've seen just recently. But what I'm saying is there are parallels. So you say, look, so what I'm saying is if you say the Protocols of the Elders Design is a forgery, that's even if you say it's 100% not true, but then you read a book like The Jewish Revolutionary Spirit, or you read a book like The Slaughter of Cities, and you see what the Jews, in quotes, right, what they have been doing, and you remember what you read in the protocols, and you're saying to yourself, that is exactly what the protocols said that they were going to do. I'm just saying. Hey Tom, Thomas, if you're it's Holy Joe Space Rock. You may, let me just widen my window over here. You're not going to see this. It may be that you have to click something, whatever, that says that you want to ask for permission or something like that. Yesterday, somebody contacted me and I had to approve them. So I just want to see if this is going to work. I tested this yesterday or 2 days ago. Yo, Gadu, man. Is there an OS X version of Gadu? I don't know. I use Gadu on a PC. I still have an account. If I can remember the password. I don't know. I think the email address I no longer use, so I don't know how I would be able to recover the email. But anyhow, yeah, I know it doesn't matter if it's written on paper. It doesn't mean it's true. That's not the point. The point is you write your thoughts down on paper, and then you can decide whether the thoughts are logical or valid or not, right? That's what I'm saying. Okay. Yo, TJ, if you want to PM me later on, I can try to connect with you later on after the show. We've got about 8 more minutes left in this broadcast. I want to thank everybody who came out. Yo, man, that's a good idea. Urban, lizard people, controlling the earth. Yeah, you could write that, and people might believe it, but it doesn't make any sense in the reality, right? You can't point to actual lizard people and say, this is the behavior of these lizard people. You can't do that, right? You can say it. How are you going to prove that people are lizard people? Unless it's like the miniseries V, where they rip the skin, right? And the lizard was underneath it, right? So hilarious, man. I hear you, man. Somebody's saying I should create a channel on Twitch TV. I thought that was only for games. I'm on VidMe. I'm on VidMe, or vid.me. And actually, VidMe makes it very easy for me to upload videos to it. And it also has a similar ability to... what's it called? Has a very similar ability to monetize it, right? They call it, I think, followers or subscribers. They changed the terminology. But Let me see here. Is Super Chat up? Can people see Super Chat? I don't know if Super Chat's up. Stream options. Yeah, I'm talking about evidence. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyhow, okay. Thomas, you're asking, how do I compare the comfort of my life in the U.S. versus Poland? Well, oh man. The quick answer is it's kind of hard to make an even comparison. I'll tell you why. Because when I lived in the U.S., I was younger. I was working my ass off. I was making a lot more money. I had a great life until it was blown up by my ex-wife. Okay? So that's one thing. And actually, my living expenses were very low because I bought a house in New York. What was it? 1990. I want to say 1990. Hang on, 1994 maybe? Something like that, 1994. The housing market had collapsed, and I was able to buy a house with a couple other equity partners that we shared the house until later on I bought them out, and then I sold the place. But, so my living costs, at least at the beginning, were very reasonable. So I didn't need to make a lot of money. But I lucked out, and I had a few successes, and whatever. So I had a pretty good life. I would say that, looking back, I probably thought I had a better life than I actually had. I mean, I had a bigger house there than I have here, bigger living space. I probably had a better car. I wish I had that car. It was a badass car, but it was a well, whatever. Doesn't matter. It was a cool car. Nothing fancy, but just nice. Although I probably should have bought a BMW or a Mercedes instead. Because this car, it's a Japanese one, didn't really hold any kind of value, even after 2-3 years. Anyway, whatever. So it's kind of like apples and oranges in a way, because it was a different time and it was a different, I don't know, space. But I was pretty comfortable there, middle class, and I had some really good opportunities in the U.S. that were really good, man. Yeah, man. 1994. Look, 1990. There was a huge crash in the real estate market. And this house had been on the market for probably 9 months, 10 months. And, I mean, so maybe I got it 20% below market value at that time, which was really great. And then it went up from there. Hang on. Uh-oh. I can't take this call, man. Sorry. I'm not able to take that call. I know who's calling me. I can't take that call right now. But, no, come on, man. I can't take the call right now. All right. I'm using my cell phone LTE as backup connectivity in case my new internet goes down. But yeah, so I did sell the place, I think 2007. 2007, I got rid of everything. And, you know, I knew I was going to be here permanently in Poland. And actually, you know, make less money, have about the same lifestyle. It did take me about 10 years of, you know, living in Poland for about 10 years to kind of get to the same level. So it's things have obviously changed here in Poland, and in a positive way, right? But also things are not changing, which is a good thing, because that's what I like about this place, is that it's very conservative in a way, stable. It's a good place to be. I think it's better for my kids to be raised here than in the U.S. There's a lot less distractions. There's still a lot of distractions. Starting to see more and more of it out here. And it kind of irritates me because I don't want to see that crap. I don't want my kids to be exposed to that. I really would like them to be raised in a manner that I was raised, you know, with, let's say, a higher moral standard, at least a visible higher moral standard. I'm not saying what people do in the privacy of their bedroom. That's their business. That's your business, right? But I'm just saying, I don't need to see that, and you don't need to preach that negativity, that that anti-logos behavior to especially children, right? Because when you pull away from God, It's all about you. It's all about narcissistic behavior. And you become a slave to yourself. You become a slave to your human desires. Think about that. This is what all this stuff boils down to in, for instance, these books from E.Michael Jones. Really thought-provoking books that, honestly speaking, when I was a kid, I remember my mother, who went to Catholic college for sure. I'm not sure about high school. I think she went to just a local high school in the U.S. But I remember her talking about these concepts. This is even before this guy appeared, right? Dude, you can't. I have no way to contact this guy. Sort of a job-related phone call. But we're coming up. I got another minute to go. But Urban's asking when's the next stream. Probably be in a week. Is this a good time? Maybe I could probably push it back. I might push it back another hour or so. Exactly, man. If you kill God, what it's not even. We can get into another video of kind of talking about it in a different way. But when you remove God, as the communists have done, what replaced that? Just nothing, right? And if that's the values that come with Christianity, whether or not you believe in all the so-called hocus pocus or faith stuff,
it's 7 o'clock.
It provides you with a moral compass that is good for everybody, right? That's good for everybody. And if that moral compass is not there, look, I could write a law that says "Thou shalt not kill," but if you don't believe in God, then what's to stop you from killing, right? It's just, there's a law. I don't have to follow the law, right? I mean, the law says don't cross the street if it's red, but you might run across the street anyway because, nobody's coming, right? So it's the same kind of thing, man. Wukash, I don't know, is that a hashtag Islam sucks balls argument, right? That sounds like a Muslim argument. One does not simply kill a god, right? They believe that Jesus was not killed, but that Allah substituted somebody else in his place. So that's another fascinating discussion, and I need to do a big lie video on Islam based upon my research, based upon years of studying, not because I wanted to, but because I came across some information, asked a friend of mine who, he was raised Catholic, became an atheist, but he had lived in Malaysia for a long time and knew supposedly a lot about Islam, or he lived amongst Muslim people. And I remember asking him about what I had learned, and he said, that's not true. If that, I would want to read the Quran and read the Hadith and read the Sirah to verify that. So I was like, well, obviously you're not going to do it, so let me do it. And I started reading it, started researching it, and it turns out that all this stuff was true, right? The 109 verses, kill the infidel, it's in the Quran. 164 verses to commit jihad, violent jihad against non-believers, it's all in there. Muhammad didn't know where sperm comes from. He thought it came from between the ribs and the spinal cord. Sperm doesn't come from there. It comes from the testicles, which are not anywhere near there. He also wrote that the sun sets in a pool of muddy water. There's so many things in there that are totally inaccurate. And there's even evidence presented by Robert Spencer that Muhammad may never have actually even existed. He's a combination or a composite of many characters, maybe based on one guy, but a composite of other ancient characters kind of put together. The quick reason is, if the Muslims came to Jerusalem, they built their mosque. It doesn't say anything about Muhammad. There are no coins, the first coins that came out. There's nothing about Muhammad. There's nothing about the Shahada, right? That there is only one God and Muhammad is its final messenger or whatever. It's not there. Nothing exists until I think it's like 160 years after Muhammad. So, true. The Talmudic Jews do not believe in logos. Talmudic Judaism today, which is based on the Talmud. Now, there are some Torah Jews, which are supposedly ultra-Orthodox, but I'm not even convinced that they are Torah Jews. Okay? Because, whatever, that's another story. But the Talmud was written about 100 years after Jesus was crucified. Because what happened was, in about 70 AD, there was another rebellion. So that was another rebellion in Judea. The Romans cracked down. This one Jewish rabbi, I don't know what you call him. He had friends with the Romans and was able to get smuggled out. And he started a school. His only request was, look, let me go. I'm a friend to Rome. I want to start a school to teach Judaism, or teach Judaism. And they started writing down these, basically, conversations between rabbis. That's what the Talmud is. It's well documented. It was a secret book, actually, until around maybe the 10th century. And then it was in fact not allowed for the goyim, which is the non-Jews or Jewish cattle, to have access to it. But essentially, it is a book filled with hate and anti-Christian rhetoric. One passage says that Jesus is boiling in a tub of excrement, right? Which is, David Woods is awesome. David Woods is awesome. Also, Dr. Bill Warner, really, great researcher, has done a lot of research on the topic of Islam and done some books on it that you can buy. Where was I? Talmud, yeah. So basically, Judaism of today, if it's Talmudic Judaism, is actually a newer religion than Christianity. Okay, that's a fact. That's just what's up. So probably do something on Friday next week. How do you guys feel? I mean, I'll maybe ask some questions. Would you guys want it to be a little bit later? I mean, this is probably a pretty okay time for most people in Central Europe. Maybe I could definitely push it back a couple of hours. I don't want it to be too late, but I'd definitely like to get potentially more people from the USA involved, so it can't be too early. And Friday, obviously during the workday, you might be able to listen. You wouldn't be able to participate necessarily. So we'll have to see. For now, let's just say it'll probably be around either 6 or 7. I'll announce it in the next couple of days on Friday. We'll do this again, all right? And hopefully get some more call in from people. I really appreciate it. 7 o'clock, yeah. 7, I could do it definitely. I could probably do it at 7 on Friday. Let's try that. Let's try that next week. Let's set it for 7 o'clock. Yeah, 7 p.m. Central European time. At least as we're speaking now, that's the plan. It's 7:06 p.m. Central Eastern time. And I thank you all for your support. I thank you all for listening. And I will see you soon on the next episode. And until then, where are we at here? Oh, here we go. Until then, make it happen for the captain, because you're the captain.